Well, I've been working on this painting for about 3 weeks or more, and during this time I actually got COVID. So I want to encourage you to be careful out there. Still wear your mask because you can catch it a second time. And it is no fun. So I returned to the painting and looked at it carefully, and I've done a lot of wonderful details, and I wanted you to see the beginning from the end. I will be sharing with you the type of paint that I used. I used Chalkola products, Chalkola Gouache, and Chalkola acrylic markers. And I used a watercolor paper. I'll tell you more about that in the review. And this is also an overview of the complete lesson. The complete lesson is actually over close to 2 hours, an hour and 50 minutes or more. And I'm going to be showing you the review of Chalkola and then fast forwarding through the lessons. Make sure that you go out and look for the lessons, because now we're putting it on Patreon. And that's going to be so exciting because you'll have access to all the lessons at a really reduced rate. But in the meantime, should you be interested in this lesson, please go to Art Lessons Now and look for Lesson 7. See the end from the beginning. And oh, by the way, I'm going to be giving away one of these prints from this original. I'm going to do a really fine quality print, and I'm going to be giving away one print to a lucky viewer. So make sure you look for the description below, and please enter the contest where you can win a print. Okay, seeing the end from the beginning.
It's a beautiful day in the Carolinas. I'm Cheryl Johnson. I'm swimming with my nephew, Jim Wildman, and we're getting ready to do a wonderful video on Chalkola Gouache. If you don't know what gouache is, stay tuned. Have a wonderful day.
Hi, I'm back from having a swim and getting ready to share with you my review about Chalkola. So let's get ready. Chalkola contacted me, Lois, the influence marketer. I don't know if that's your title, Lois. If not, bear with me. She contacted me and said, hey, thanks for the video you did about acrylics. Would you be interested in doing a review for us? Just as a disclaimer, they're not paying me. They just sent me the box of gouache, and we're going to review this, and then I'm actually going to paint a painting. So it's like Christmas, opening the package. So this is the gouache paint set. This is a beautiful piece of Strathmore watercolor paper that Jim gave me. I work with my partner Jim Wildman of johnsonwildman.com. That's a plug for our other company. So this is a beautiful piece of watercolor paper, and we're going to be doing our demonstration on this piece. This video is on skills to master using Chalkola Gouache paint. This is a 36 set paint set. Wow, we've got a lot to cover in these 36 different colors, but it's also, most importantly, the introduction to the Art Lessons Now lesson that's going to be offered on Art Lessons Now. So we're going to review the product, and I'm going to share with you a lot of information you'll want to know, and I'm going to show you different things to create and how I decided about my composition and how we figured out what to do in the different steps of using gouache. Oh, by the way, gouache. It looks like go or gouache. It's actually a French word, gouache. So, gouache. Well, let's look in this exciting box of the gouache paint set. Wow, oh my God, this is so exciting. I feel like Christmas. Wow, this is a sponge. Cute little sponge. I'm terrible about props and things, so I will be using it. And here we have, that's amazing. We have a palette. I was really worried about that because Jim gave me a wonderful palette to use that I'm going to find in a few seconds that's clear that I can show you, but this is great to have. And a palette knife. Oh my God, this is so exciting. Wow, a girl can never have too many brushes. We have brushes in here. We also have a little watercolor piece of paper with little areas for you to paint your different colors. And now, the exciting part. Look at this, 36 tubes of color. Woo! Woo! Is this exciting or what? We're going to be covering how to mix the paints, how to use them, what medium we use to mix with it. A hint, the reason I swam into the entry of this program is because it's mixed with water. Don't forget, don't drink the water. And we're going to show you how we develop the composition. You may wonder how I get ideas for compositions, and I'm going to let you know some inside tips and secrets that you don't want to miss, because that's the hard part as an artist. Figuring out what to paint, how to get your piece of paper ready, your art, and what materials you want to use in order to draw your sketch on here. And you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm even going to paint one of these turtles. I guess for Jim, oh shit, it's not a damn turtle, it's a bird, it's a parrot. It's, excuse the French, merde. Jim would want the blue one, I love the red, so maybe we'll put a little bit of both. So, let's jump right into the lesson. You may be wondering if this lesson's going to be for beginners or middle or advanced. I'm telling you, it's going to teach something for everyone, because I'm going to be giving tips about using gouache. I have gray, silver, gorgeous hair. That means that I've painted for 40 years or more, and so I have used gouache and watercolor. Now that's the tip. Gouache is mixed with water, so it's like watercolor, but here's a big difference. The difference is it's thicker and it's opaque. And the opacity is what we want to be talking about. I'm going to talk a little bit more about opacity and transparency and those words in a few minutes. But let's talk about what we use to put our sketch on. I've got some really great colored pencils that have that I'm going to be putting my sketch on the watercolor paper. But hey, I dug into my gifts box, and I also have this acrylic paint marker. And I'm going to use those to make some sketches or even to highlight the page later. So thank you, Chalkola. Now, I have as much trouble saying their name, Chalkola. Hola! My sister loves the Spanish influence, and they used to have a home in Argentina, and she'd say, come to my casa. Hola? I would go, hola? So, Chalkola. So, this is Chalkola products, and let's dive into gouache. Okay, I have to leave my glasses on for this one. I'm so vain that I hate to wear them, but it says on this that gouache is high intensity colors and are made with premium quality artist pigments. Well, if you study about gouache, you'll find out that it's made with pigments, some sort of pigmented powder with bright intensity, and also gum arabic and some other synthetic things that they make. I'm going to have to ask I'm going to have to ask Chalkola how they made their paints, but I'm really excited. So before we jump in, I'm going to just show you the paint. Gouache is thicker than most paints coming out. It looks very similar to acrylic, doesn't it? But hey, it's completely different because it dries matte and it dries opaque. But you can make it transparent. You'll want to learn about that. So when you use gouache, you can mix water with it and make it transparent. And compared to acrylics, acrylics dry glossy.
Opaqueness is the main characteristic of gouache, so you must use the right amount of water to get the opaqueness and the matte finish. Too much water makes it transparent and looks like watercolor, and too little water can lead to cracking on the paint surface after it dries out. Gouache covers perfectly, and it is opaque. Remember that.
So it makes it perfect if you're going to do illustrations or posters or things where you want to photograph it, because sometimes photographing acrylics or oil, that's glare, that shiny thing. So using gouache is a really good secret that you want to know about. You may be wondering, how does gouache differ than acrylics? Well, acrylics tend to be a little thicker. I haven't really gotten into this Chalkola product, but it looks really thick and creamy. I'm really excited about that. And as I said, it dries opaque. But one thing you got to remember is because it dries quickly, you have to be careful not to squirt too much of this out. It's valuable, right? And it goes a long way. So it's not like you do with acrylics or other oil paints and just slather it on, because it's transparent and opaque and you want to mix it with water. So remember also, I have a really bad tendency to not shut the lids. Jim always, says, hey, did you shut the lid, Aunt Sherry? Make sure you shut your lids. And also, make sure you don't squeeze out too much. Only put out the paints that you plan to use, because it will dry. And sometimes gouache, I don't know about this one, but we're going to see, will crackle if it gets too thick on the surface of the painting. So we're going to dive right into this now, and next we're going to cover how you start your composition. But I want to remind you, please press the thumbs up button, thumbs up, and hit subscribe, and write comments in. I want to know what you think, and if you have any questions, and send me an email. All that information is below in the description. You'll also find in the description some great links out to Amazon and other places in the Chalkola site where you can buy the gouache products from Chalkola, and you can buy this set. Perhaps they'll send me a little code that I can give you that you might even get a discount. I'll ask them, and if they do, I'll put that in the links below. But also in the links, you'll find a link to our different sites that we have. Jim and I work together, and we have several sites. Cheryl Johnson Artist, Jim Wildman, which is jwildman.com. We also have a new site, which I'm really excited about, which is johnsonwildman.com, where we're selling our paintings together. And of course, Art Lessons Now. But be sure to go check out Chalkola's products and check out their products. So make sure you look for the listings in the description below. Okay, the great thing that Chalkola did was send us all of the tools we need in the box. That's wonderful. But you do need a container of water. I like two. One for rinsing your brush and one for fresh water, so you don't mix the color into the next one. And of course, I always like to have some beverage. I'm not going to share with you what type of beverage this is in case the children are watching, but drink plenty of liquids in your life. And I also want to say a happy thanks to Jim Wildman. I'm going to take a picture of him right here. Okay, here we have the birds. I'm going to ask Jim, what bird shall I paint first? Everybody guess what color he's going to say.
I'd start with the blue one.
So could we guess that? Yeah. Doing videos are hard. Thanks, Chalkola, for giving me the opportunity to do this video. Now let's go on with the rest of the class. You may be wondering what kind of surfaces you can paint gouache with or on. And this is watercolor paper. You can use illustration board and some canvases that are gessoed. But you've got to be careful if you do it too thick, as remember I said it would crack. So I really prefer using watercolor paper. So you can also use it on fabrics. I've done that before and actually used it on some t-shirts. One of these days we're going to be selling our t-shirts, by the way. So let's get started on how we come up with our composition. Now, what did you say, Jim?
Are you plugging them or what?
I am. I'm happy to talk about Chalkola. Okay, Chalkola products. Here we go. Now, here are some colored pencils that I said that I was going to be using for the sketch. Now, how did I come up with the ideas? That's the important part. I said that I was going to do the parrots off of the box, which I call turtles. Now, the other hint that I do is that I go out to Google. I love Google. And I search for images that'll give me some inspiration. If you have an idea in the beginning, go ahead and do it. Gouache is great for landscapes. It's great for skies and flowers and so many things. My favorite artists out there, Matisse, Monet, Albert Dürer painted beautiful paintings with gouache. And he painted beautiful rabbits and things like that. So you can paint anything you want with gouache, but to get your composition, I want to paint a face because I want to show you how to paint an eye and some lips. And so I'm going to go out and look for a pretty woman. Maybe I'll find one for you, Jim. And also, I'm going to be sharing with you a short little clip I found on a YouTube, Vimeo, about robins. My niece, her name is Robin, and I'm always painting robins and eggs, blue eggs. Do you happen to know why the color of a robin's eggs are blue? We have some wonderful blue paints in here. Boy, I can paint beautiful blue eggs with this gouache Chalkola paint. But robin's eggs are made from a bio, it's called biliberdum, that makes the eggs blue. And the important thing is that when the eggs are blue, it attracts male birds who will have more tendency to come and help take care of the nest. Now, what's so exciting is when I watched this video of the robin, the mother robin coming in and landing on the blue eggs, I thought, God, that's going to be fun to paint. And so I'm going to be painting a robin. It's really exciting to see things out there that inspire you. I'm also going to zip through Google and look for birds flying, specifically robins, and I'm going to capture an image so I can sketch out the robin. And of course I'm going to be doing another plug for Chalkola, the parrots on this box. So I'm going to be doing a face, I'm going to be doing a robin's nest, I'm going to be doing some round robin's eggs, I'm going to be doing some birds, some parrots, and some robins flying, and I'm going to be laying in a lot of color. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is paint the eggs because I want to show you how to make values and dimension and how wonderful gouaches are for making shadows and for putting detail. We found some beautiful paints in here. Thank you, Chalkola. We have, oops, got to have my glasses again. We've got Prussian blue, ultramarine blue, cerulean blue. Oops, I'm sorry, that's the turquoise blue. And then we have the cerulean blue. Notice how I put them down on my palette from the darkest value to the lightest. That'll help me as I'm painting, so I kind of keep myself organized. So I'm only going to put these colors down right now. So first I'm going to sketch the area for the robin's nest, kind of where the mother is, and then I'm going to do the eggs, and we're going to paint the eggs. Okay, here's a piece of that photo that I took from that Vimeo video. I just did a screen grab, and so that I would have the nest and the eggs. And I want to talk to you about composition real quickly. Don't make it hard. It's really pretty easy. If you think about this, this is just basically circles, and the eggs are circles. We can come back with the detail later. So all I'm going to do is indicate where my nest is. So I want it to about somewhere right here. So I'm going to put the nest right here because I want to be able to show the eggs. I want to have the nest come down here. We'll come in with the branches and all that kind of stuff later, but I'm just going to kind of suggest where the eggs are. Remember, eggs are kind of ovally. Doesn't matter if you go on top of one another. Jim just reminded me, the mother didn't do it, but I'm going to do it for her. Odd numbers are better than even numbers. Well, maybe it's hidden down here and we can't see, but odd numbers are better. So I'm going to do another egg up here. So I'm just going to wet the area, and I'm just going to wet this one little circle here. I'm not going to paint all of the painting in this. You'll find that in the lesson, so make sure you look for the lesson. But I want to try these Chalkola products. So it's kind of light. I'm just going to try out these colors and see what they do. Look at that. It goes on like a beautiful wash. Wow, Chalkola, that's really nice, which means this Chalkola product you can use transparent. I can take another little color and I can add a little bit more here and blend it in. See, I have a tendency to clean my brush off on the canvas, which is great because that's where my vines and twigs are going. So there's my egg, one of them anyway. We'll show you the rest of them. Add a little bit of contrast here. Little shadow. On a shadow will come, you have to look where the light source is. So the light is coming from up here, so it's highlighted up here and it's shadowed on the side down here. Now, there's going to be an egg on top, which I'm just going to go ahead and put that in now, even though I will be painting it more later. So, and notice this technique. This is called dry brushing. See how it shows the surface of the paper coming through? Dry brushing is just using a light bit of paint on your brush. Hey, Chalkola, good job. It's doing great. Let's try a different color in dry brush. Wow, look at that. Isn't that nice? Okay, well, we got a good start. I did a screen grab from the video. This was by a person that did this video about 12 years ago. Robins, 4 eggs, and he shot it over a 4-week time. I sent it to my niece so she could play it for her daughter, who's of 5 or 6. I don't know how old you are, Felicity. Please send me a note so I can remember. Remembering all these things about your family are hard. I'm going to send Robin a set of this gouache Chalkola acrylics, which you can order from Amazon on UK, and I'm going to order it and have it delivered to her because I'm really loving this, and Robin's a budding artist, so she'll want to try these. I took a picture of the mother, and so even though it wasn't on the one where the blue eggs are, she's looking down into it, an expectant mother. I'm going to put this robin as if she's looking in it right now. So this is the edge of the robin's nest, and I'm going to foreshorten it a little bit, like so. And I'm going to put the mother up here. And if you look at this, don't make it hard. It's just circles. Circles, circles, and a wing and a beak. So you can do this, trust me. The circle for her body, and a circle for her head, and a circle, an oblong circle for her wing, and an indication for her tail. And an indication down here for her beak. And right like that. And we got to put her eye somewhere around here. Okay, and she's got some little feet coming over here, just a few. It's going to be in the dark, a little shadow, but there she is. So let's put a little color in for her. Okay, now we're going to paint a little bit of the robin so you can see that. Great news, I got one of the Chalkola oranges. This is odd. This is a beautiful name for a color, orange. I thought it was going to have something wonderful about it, but it's a wonderful name, orange. We've squeezed it out there, and Jim just reminded me, I got worried for a second. I said, oh, and all this time it's drying out. And he said, yeah, but remember gouache, you can re-wet, and you can bring it back to life. So that's exciting. Now, the complement of blue is orange, and if you mix the two together, where they meet in the center is going to be like a muddy color. So let's do a little bit of orange and a little bit of together, and voila! Look at that. We made a beautiful browny gray. A little bit of orange, a little bit of blue. So all I'm going to do here is come in and I'm going to create the part of the head. I don't really even have to worry so much about the eye on this, because remember, gouache is opaque. I can come back over this and paint over top, but I'm just going to try to leave a little area here, because it might give me a little help for detail. And we're just going to put this over here. Don't overwork your paintings, just keep things loose and fun. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to come over here and do the round part of the bird, of this beautiful robin. And the underside, this is the shadow. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of the paint, make it a little bit darker this time, but down here, mixing a little bit of the turquoise. Now, I've talked to you about magic mud, and if you want to really learn about magic mud, you're going to have to see another one of my videos. But magic mud is just mixing the different colors together that you're using in your palette. And so I'm going to make this a little darker. Beautiful Prussian blue here. And a little bit darker. We're going to make a nice dark color over here. I just want to see how dark this edge is. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I'm going to lay it down here below for some shadow. I'm going to come along the bottom edge over here like so. And I'm going to come in here for the tail. Look at that dry brush again. Wow, wow, wow. Is that perfect? Like little feathers? Let's put some little feathers like this. I wonder how feathers really go. Speaking of, when you've got the paint out, go ahead and put it in someplace else when it's wet. This is the inside of the area, and I'm going to come in here and come over to where my eggs are and put this around here like so. Beautiful Chalkola, really nice. Look at that. Well, we don't want to give too many secrets away on our robin, but I am going to lay a little bit of orange in there because I want to see how the Chalkola paint does in layering from the top. So remember, robins are orange, or you call them robin redbreasts. And notice I've got the orange color, but I'm going over the gouache that was already there. And because it dries so quickly, it gives you a beautiful layer. And look at that. And I can add a little bit of color up here just for fun, just to get a little like so. And come down here. And since we've got this out, I want to just do some dry brush right here to let it play in preparation of where I think I want my parrots. My parrots are going to be flying over here. Remember Bob Ross? He used to say, it's your world. Paint it however you want. There are no rules. You're the artist. Take charge. Hey, try this Chalkola paint. It's really nice. Okay, now I said that I was going to put these beautiful gouache birds that they have on the front of their box. Hey Chalkola, you did great. I don't know who the artist is, but hey, if you can start a project and already have ideas of what to paint, that's great. Okay, here we have the birds. Okay, we've got this wonderful branch out here, so I guess our parrots need to be sitting on something. I did this branch over here, and so I'm just going to do another branch out here, and you're going to say, well, what? Hey, you covered up the center. What are you going to do? So this is a circle. This is a circle. The head is basically a circle. This is some wings area here, and then you got to put his little feet hooking onto the thing, and then the color coming down here like so, and his little shoulders around like so. Wow, that's cool. And while we're doing it, we might as well decide where the beak goes. It's kind of round. Remember, this is not hard. I'm only going to draw a circle like that, and then I'm going to make the beak follow the circle like so. And there's the bottom of the beak, and his eye is going to be over here, and his little hot hat top. Elvis, you would be jealous. This is an Elvis do almost. And we got that one, and then we have this over here, and I'm going to do the red bird and another circle. And this is basically a circle over here. Another circle. And the neck comes down. Watch this. Woo! Is that easy or what? Okay, we're going to do it again. Remember the little secret of using a circle over here for the beak? Going to come down here like so. Do the beak down there. And then the color is down here, his eyes right here. And there's his hair. And here's like so. Here's the colors. Now, we're going to test out the Chalkola colors for these wonderful birds. Let's give it a try. And I got to tell you good news. I was worried because I use a lot of Naples yellow. It's one of my favorite colors. Good news, they have 2 tubes of Naples yellow in here. They also have some mild yellow and some lemon yellow. I accidentally dropped it on the counter, and so I picked it up, and so I'm not going to let it waste. So here's the center section, like so. And I'm just going to come down here. And so, hey, I guess you can finger paint with Chalkola. Okay, we want to use these brushes. Remember, they gave us a whole set of brushes. Wow. Choose the right brush and make marks easier. They even show you what the mark's going to look like. A small one, they get to a point, a chisel bus or a flat bus, brush. No, I've not had too much to drink, water or otherwise. And a filbert. A filbert brush is one that's kind of like rounded. Let me show you a filbert. This is a filbert. It's kind of like oval at the top. And this is a flat brush and a fan brush. So let's try this fan brush. I really like that one. Let's see if we can add some nice color around here. Now, I'm just going to put some water out here because I want to see how this paint will move when it's dry. Look at that. I actually just add some water and I'm moving it around and right off of the watercolor paper. I just wanted to see how much would move. Now, is that great or what? For Jim, I'm going to start on the blue parrot, just for fun. I get confused what to hold and what not to hold. So it's a little turquoise here, just a little here. But I'm going to go ahead and paint the whole little bit of here. And if I go, oh my, I didn't like that color, look what I can do. I can kind of push it. This is called lifting. That's a tip that I'm going to teach you more about. Lifting is when you have an area that you don't like and you put water in it and you lift off the paint. That's called lifting. I'll delve into that more later. Okay, I'm just going to come in here and put some colors. I'm using dry brush again. And I'm going to add a little bit more orange. Lost my orange. There's the orange. I tend to do things in a hurry. So I'm just going to pick up the gouache and squeeze a little bit right there. Not much, just a little to see what it does. So I'm actually on the canvas or the paper itself. Notice when I do layers, it can come right over the top. Okay, I'm not going to give you too much detail on this, but we had a good start. I told you I wanted to paint a woman's face. Well, where do we get a woman's face? I just Googled beautiful women's faces, and I'm going to pick one, and we're going to draw that. Okay, I found this face that I really like. I can download it for $4 a month or $12 for the image, but I'm just going to look at it as a reference. I'm not going to be painting a portrait, so I'm just going to use it for an idea. So it's just a place to start. Okay, I'm going to make a big face, a beautiful face. And so I'm just going to come up here. Faces, remember, are ovals. I'm just going to come over here and do an oval. Keep going like so, just an oval until I get an oval that I think is right. This is just to give me a line for her face. And then her eyebrow comes down here. And her nose comes down here. A nose is a ball. With 2 balls beside it. 2 balls beside it. And this part right here is called the angel kisses. This is where when the babies left heaven, Jesus said, shh, don't tell them all the secrets. And he laid the finger right here and left this little indentation. My mama told me that. So that's a place for angels' kisses. So next we're going to put that area in. Okay, next I'm going to do the mouth, and that's just basically the top lip is 2 balls, and the bottom lip is just a little bit bigger balls. If you want a big, voluptuous mouth. And so then basically you're just going to join where it goes, and you've got to decide how wide the mouth is. One thing I want to point out in composition, if you look at a picture and you draw a line straight up from the edge of the mouth, where does it come? It comes almost to the edge of the eyeball. Normally it will come, like you can see it, if I draw a line straight down the center of the eyeball, the mouth comes right to the center of the eyeball. So that helps you with your proportions. And an eye is a big socket and another ball. Everything in life is balls. Okay, I'm still on the lips, but I've got to put the eye in first because I've got to decide how big it is. One little trick I do is I measure with my thumb against the mouth. I just measure, it happens to be just about the size of that gold, and then I come up here and see how big it is compared to the eye. So I kind of get the idea of the space and what we're talking about. So the same amount of space of the lips is from the bottom of the eye to the top of the eyebrow. The bottom of the eyebrow.
Thanks to the magic of video editing, I can show you where we're going.
So I'm measuring this, and so if I come from the bottom of the eyebrow, which is about right here, I decide that's the bottom of my eyebrow, and I'm measuring this space from the bottom of the eyebrow to right here. You see that? And this is a natural little line. So that's going to be the bottom of my eye. And you got to decide kind of how big the eye is. The pupil is to one of these little balls you did over here. So you can measure again right here. You can kind of see that it's about the size of the little ball you did for the lip. So I've got this little ball here, so I'm going to go ahead and put my pupil in, lay some color in here. Look at that, how it's just really doing some nice flavor of the mouth. You're going to have some pink on the cheek. We'll be doing more detail. Then I'm going to do a nice, little brush. I'm going to do a little bit of soft blue and a little teeny bit of red. Get a little purpley color, and I'm going to lay it up here just because I want some shadow. Just going to get the shadow back here. Now, look what's happening. So, what I'm going to do, always have your paper towels at hand. So all I'm going to do, where this color fell down, I'm going to see how Chalkola does on lifting that color. And I can even lift it like this. Wow, is that a neat trick? I'm going to be showing you a lot of tricks in this video. Hey, Chalkola, you're doing good so far. So we're going to be doing some detail on the eye. We're going to do some detail on the mouth. And what else do I want to put in this painting? Jim, what else did I want to paint in this painting? Leaves, flowers and leaves, and to try the different colors. I'm going to do leaves next. Okay. I forgot that Chalkola has all of these colors down here already for you. I didn't even have to mix them. Oh my, let's try some of this lilac while I got it out. That's a beautiful color. And there's violet, and there's gold ochre, and peach. Oh my, this is exceptional. You don't even have to learn how to mix colors. Chalkola has done it for you. I just squeezed out a little bit of the violet right there. Remember Elizabeth Taylor? They called her the lady with the violet eyes. Now, I'm just throwing in a little bit of color, and remember our little secret, if it's running and we don't want it, what do? We just blot it out, just let it go like that. And while I've got it over here, I might as well do some nice little color over here for fun. Wow, I love this dry brush. And we're going to lay in some stuff for color for our nest. Let's see how Chalkola does with picking up the colors that are already wet. Dry. Look at that, it's working great. Notice I did a little wash over that to see what it would do. Did just a nice, and it's not moving hardly at all. Now, I said I was going to paint some flowers. So just for fun, I'm going to come in here and do, I guess, a rose. Okay, I've got a beautiful crimson red here. I'm real anxious to see what the color is because crimson red is one of my favorite colors. So I'm going to put it down here. Oh, it's great. Another good job, Chalkola. Beautiful pigmented colors. Wow, look at this brush. What? Try to get a brush that fits in the jar. I may have to stop and get a bigger container. Oops.
Push them in your bowl.
Oh, pour some in my bowl. God, thank you, Jim. I need some water for my big brush. Wow. This is a beautiful brush, by the way. This is like a Chinese, Japanese, I don't know. There's my little trick again. I came out to Google and I found some pink roses. I'm just going to pick one of these and we're going to paint that pink rose. This is beautiful, this one. Let's throw some of these roses in here and see what they look like. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some water. And let's just first decide the shape of, remember, balls, 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 balls. That's where the roses are going. This is just wet on wet. Let's try really wet on wet. I wish this was laying down just to give you an idea. This is wet on wet. And I'm just going to drop that in there. And if this were flat, it wouldn't run. But I just wanted to give the feeling and let you show what you can do with letting colors move. And let's just carry a little bit of color over to the rest of the painting, just for fun. Remember, it's your world. Make it however you want. Okay, we're going to let that dry for a second, and I'm going to go fluff my drink. Okay, now we're going to do some of the petals, and I'm going to be showing you some quick little secrets. I'm adding just a tiny bit of white. I usually leave the white until the last, but I wanted to check out the Chalkola product and see how it blends colors together. Because you can change the value of a color by adding dark or light. And since I happen to have white, I thought I'll just change the color of the paint. Put it down here and add a little bit of white. I had blue in my brush, so it's still picking it up a little bit. Look at that beautiful, nice hue we've got. So flowers grow in petals coming from the inside out. So all I'm going to do is pretend this is the inside here, and all I'm going to do is, that's the inside part, and I'm going to take and make this come out like this, and just make some soft color like this come out of it, and a little indentation right here, like so. Make a little bit of form on that. I'm just making a little volume and carrying the color out like so. Okay, come back in. You can take and put a nice little edge of the leaves, of the petals, like so. And like so. And come down here. Put the darker color towards the bottom. Ooh, these are going to be pretty, 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 pretty. And just for fun, I'm just going to lay a little bit in there like that, just to give you an idea of how fast and easy it is to do flowers. Look at that. All I did is take and draw some of the leaves like this, the petals like so. And I've come over here with some wet, and I just let it run. Then I'm going to come back later and add the edges of where these flowers will go, these roses will go. Notice how it's picking up the paint from the gouache and moving it really nicely. And then later, when I have my white, I can come back in here and just bring my white just like this along the edge. Look at that. I'll be showing you more of that later. Wow. Well, this is the first part of the project about Chalkola paints. The first part of the project about Chalkola paints. I really like it. I forgot one thing, and I'm going to do that very quickly. And then we're going to kind of wind this part up. I want to thank Chalkola for sending me these gouache paints. I think they're really exciting and nice to use. I'll be sharing with you how the painting came out, and I sure hope that you go out and check Chalkola products. But the first thing I'm going to do is add just a few green leaves. Because they have some beautiful greens. So I'm putting this on here just because I just want to quickly show you the different color greens, just for fun. Beautiful color. And you can actually even come around the edge of your petals like this. Oh, that's a pretty color. Wish I had my glasses on so I could tell you the name of it. And some more color. Beautiful. This is a beautiful green. I'm going to put my glasses on just because, oh, this is toward the turquoise value. This is still wet up there, and I even have a lime green. Ooh, this is pretty. Let's put a little bit on the side of these parrots while we've got them here. Okay, we're just going to see how they mix. Oh my, this is nice. We're just going to lay some darks and lights. Remember, it's running, so I can just guide it like this. And remember my little lifting trick. So all I'm doing is doing some shadows in here for fun. Look at that green. That's a beautiful green. Oh, good job, Chalkola. This is going to run, but it's going to be fun.
Adding the green around the outside of the parrot is really going to make it stand out. So take your time and add a lot of wonderful color in this area.
Remember, it's your world. Paint it however you want to. Thank you, Chalkola. This completes the first part of the video where I review the Chalkola products. I first off want to say thank you again, Chalkola. I really like their gouache. I think they have beautiful smooth texture. It doesn't appear to crack or split off. The wonderful thing about it, it is opaque and transparent, and when you photograph it, it has a matte finish. So those are wonderful features about it. I encourage you to try their product and also learn to develop your skills using gouache. In the next section, I'm simply going to fast forward to show you all of the lessons. There's close to 2 hours of lessons, and as I said earlier, we're offering this on Patreon and Art Lessons Now. I hope you go out and check out the course, and I hope this has been valuable for you. And if you have any questions, please contact me. Again, this is Cheryl Johnson. I'm an artist, and I encourage you to pursue your passions and have more joy every day. This is the day that all artists look forward to, the day they can say, I'm finished. I've done everything I can to make this a great painting. I hope you enjoyed the painting process, and I want to thank Chalkola for sending me the gouache to experiment with. I really highly endorse it. It's a great product. Make sure you take the time to learn how to use gouache. There's so many wonderful things about it. Number one, it's opaque, and it's also transparent like watercolors. And number three, it has a matte finish which allows you to photograph it and get some beautiful results. We're going to be offering this print, this original as a print, so make sure you look for that too. And thank you so much for taking the time to join us at Art Lessons Now. This is Cheryl Johnson, and I encourage you to explore your passions and have more joy every day.